All right, guys, so I've already started it up here, and it's actually really quiet. For a diesel, it's really, really quiet. It's got auto power windows up and down, too. 1992, what's good? And I always say this, but the interior of this thing is like minty. Like, there's no cracks in the dash. The steering wheel is not chewed up. The seats aren't chewed up. Like, it just, for something so old, I expected it to be worse shape. And this cracks me up, too. Look at the size of these, I call them smoker covers, but rain guards. Like, they're huge. I just, the whole, everything on this vehicle is just bigger and badder than what you think. And then you got Japanese down here, which you guys can't see right now. So, reverse. Now again, he actually puts the e-brake up in his automatics. This is so creepy right now. I keep forgetting I gotta go to the right, or my left, I should say. Try to figure it out. Ooh, it does have that nice turbo whistle though. Ooh, I do like that. Oh, I went to hit the turn signals and they're not there.
Turn signals
Damn
on the
it.
right.
They're on the right hand of the stock and I'm not used to that. All right, there's my first screw up of the day. I did not think of that at all.
It happens.
And I'm just driving down the road. Every time I've rode with anyone that has a right-hand drive vehicle, they always ride way too close to the center line, and I'm trying not to do that. Oh man, it's so smooth. I'm blown away how smooth this thing is. I thought for sure with the big 35-inch wheels on this, it'd be bouncing all around, making weird noises. Dude, this thing is mint. I want one. I need one in my life. Now, you did say you're going to be getting an exhaust on this, correct?
Yes.
So, is there a certain size exhaust these guys run? Is it just like American trucks or diesels, whatever, they run big 4 or 5-inch exhausts on these, or what's the deal?
The way I'm going to go is the guy who did my roll cage and my fuel cell cage on the GTR, he's going to custom make me one. He made my exhaust on the GTR, which is 3.5-inch straight pipe.
Okay.
We're gonna inspect and see how big of a straight pipe we can do.
Okay.
Probably do a 4 or 5-inch if it's possible. If not, we're gonna go with what's the capacity it has down there to make one. So
for sure.
It literally starts right where your foot's at on the throttle. Is where the exhaust starts and just goes all the way back. So it's pretty nice and it's easily accessible even from the wheel well. You can just
that
tell
makes it nice then. For sure.
I think the flex pipe has a little bit of a leak because when you accelerate, you can hear there's a little bit of an exhaust leak. So it's perfect.
Gotcha.
I can actually justify saying, okay, I can do a straight pipe now, and I need it because it's leaking a little bit. So other than that, it's pretty good.
And guys, I am gonna probably apologize to them like a million times today because I'm trying to stay over, but I can already see myself veering over to the left some. I can already feel myself doing it. I'm trying not to, but it's hard. Oh, and he was telling me about the brakes. I just now felt it. I'm like, oh, is it gonna stop?
Yeah,
you gotta put
some pressure on it.
You gotta put some oomph into it. From what Mikey was telling me here, the brakes from the factory are a bit undersized. It does have disc brakes the whole way around, which is kind of surprising, but from the factory, it just doesn't have, I guess, enough grip to it, or maybe better pads would help. But I mean, I was putting some serious force to come down from 30 miles an hour to get us to stop right now. So I can't imagine what it's like if you're going 60, 65 and have to slam on the brakes. God, like, I just get a little bit of gas and...
Once the turbo kicks in,
dude, you can hear it. I mean, it's... For something, this has a stock intake, stock exhaust, I mean, you can really hear it. I can't wait to see this thing get an open intake on it, and then you go to let off and it gives that great choo-choo noise. That's what I'm looking forward to.
So the thing is that they make the snorkel for this car.
Okay.
But the fact that the car just got repainted is something for me that I can't wrap my head around drilling a hole in that fender.
Dude, don't do it.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I don't go, diving in lakes and stuff for me to actually want to have a snorkel. For sure. But I heard that actually performance-wise, it actually works. Will breathe a lot better and actually perform better. So that's why I'm on the fence about it. But again, I don't want to drill a hole.
I love the way it looks. I don't want to see it go too far with it. Like, that's just my opinion. I love the way it looks right now. Now, but is there goal with it to go off-roading all the time and do that
mild kind of off-roading? So that's why I'm saying I don't think I could justify doing a snorkel because I'm not going to be doing that much off-roading.
Sure.
But the exhaust, I definitely can see myself doing.
Yeah, we got to get this baby rolling coal. It's not America if it's not rolling coal. Now, and I love the fact that this is a diesel, and it's a Toyota. In the US, we've never gotten a Toyota diesel. Everywhere else in the world for the last 40, 45 years, Toyota's been selling diesels from Africa, Europe, Middle East. Everywhere gets them, except the US market and Canadian market. Even in Mexico, the Toyota market gets diesels. For some reason, I'm not sure if it's emissions, EPA, whatever it is, we don't get them here. And it's quite frustrating because if they sold a Tundra, or if they sold the Land Cruiser, or any of the SUVs with a diesel, they would sell like hotcakes.
I agree.
Especially with the way the American market's going. I mean, people buy diesels now just to have a diesel. Not because they want the great gas mileage from it, or even to haul anything. It's just the in thing right now, and people are buying them left and right. All right, guys, I'm gonna try to give it a little bit of gas here, nothing crazy, and just... That's 3/4 throttle, and that was pretty impressive. You gotta remember, you know, this is not modified in any way, shape, or form. This is a 25-year-old vehicle, 26-year-old vehicle.
Yep.
I'm sorry. Now this does only have, what'd you say,
48,000 miles on it.
48,000 miles for a 26-year-old car, or truck, I should say. I mean, that to me is just impressive in itself. Like, it's just so low mileage. The Japanese just don't put the mileage on their vehicles like we do. After so long, I believe it's a tax incentive. Oh, shit. This is a problem with a wide vehicle. I need to get over more, but I know if I get any closer to the side, there's tree branches here. And the last thing I want to do is scrape up a brand new painted vehicle. He would probably cry. I would feel really, really bad about it. So we don't want to be doing any of that. Give it a little gas here again. You can feel the old 4-speed in it though, like trying to figure out which gear it wanted to go in there. I was trying to give it again, just a little bit of gas, and it's like, all right, which gear do we want to go in here real quick? It's definitely the funny part of the old 4-speeds, because there's just not enough gear there. Where modern vehicles, 6, 7, 8-speed trucks now, it's so much linear and so much smoother because it can figure out which gear it needs to go in. The old 4-speeds, there's such a wide gap. You go from, say, 2,000 RPMs up to 3,500 downshifting, so it's much more brutal of a shift in this. But I think that's why I like it. It's just like old cars and manuals. It has this feedback for you that you really enjoy it. Now, Mikey was also saying that they did offer this in a manual, but it is uber rare, correct?
Yes.
Was that even an option for you, or either, like, is there?
Well, for me, I had a manual. I've always owned manual cars. The only automatic cars that I've owned was the 2 Grand Cherokees that I've owned in the past.
Gotcha.
And that was the only reason I had those, because you can't get those in a manual either. Yep. So this, you can get it, but it's very rare to import and to find a clean one. So yep. I said, you know what, I'm going to give up that manual option to get a clean one, and that's what I did. There's honestly no rust on this car, as you guys have seen. Yep. Before we started driving it, and that's what I gave up for. I was like, you know what, to drive a car this big with 35s actually will require a little bit of work to drive a manual. So yep. Like, I can enjoy this car, put it in drive, and just go.
And if you need to, Amanda can drive it, right? Can she drive a manual?
And that's another big reason why. It's because Amanda's like, if you're gonna get another car, I'd prefer it to be auto so I can drive it too, especially a car like this. Now, if she has to drive in the snow or whatever, she can drive it.
Yep.
And with manual, she can't.
Sure.
And she started to learn a little bit, but imagine I gave her a 5-speed manual in this thing, she would panic and like not know where to go.
Yeah, so, I can only imagine how heavy the clutch and something is, trying to roll it with 35s and giving it enough gas to get this thing going.
Yeah,
it would definitely be a huge learning curve. And then even going back from something like this to your GTR, and like the huge difference between the two and how they need to be driven. And the next time you get in the GTR, be like, oh my god, this is so much easier, so much different from what the Land Cruiser is. So it is kind of nice to have that this is an automatic and that's your true race car. The manual, that's something that gives you a ton of feedback.
I figured, you know, the GTR with a triple disc in it is going to require enough work to drive manual, so why would I want something else that's going to just require just as, you know, as much work to drive when this is going to be just great. Automatic, get in there, turn the key and go.
Sure. Guys, we're up to speed now. Hopefully the wind's not bad. Actually, I'm going to put up my window real quick. Which again, power up, look at this. The glass goes up automatically. Oh, it does. I'm so used to like race car life. This actually has AC.
Oh, it's got AC, it blows cold.
Oh yeah, and again, center console cooler, like that's just, guys, it's so neat that it has that. And he actually has a monster and it's like cold.
There you go.
Like, look at that. Like,
it's cold.
Cold. And the AC is ice cold. And everything works. Like, I don't know, I'm just blown away for a vehicle this old. The Japanese is just totally different from the US market. I'm really enjoying driving this. The only thing, like I always give good and bad. The only thing I'll criticize is actually the 35s. You can definitely feel how big they are right now. There is play in the steering wheel, but I think it all comes back in the feedback is from just oversized tires.
Yep.
If it didn't have those, I bet it would ride like glass, honestly. But that's what happens when you mod any vehicle in any shape, way, or form. You're going to lose some over here to gain, for your case, some height and some grip when you're off-roading. So it's a give and take kind of situation.
I'll add this, if you ever get a chance, look into the Toyo RTs.
Toyo RTs.
They got 35s, whatever size you want, and like they're a crossbreed between an all-terrain and a mud-terrain.
Okay.
So it's like just a lot less road noise, a lot more. It's got a really aggressive tread pattern, but it's not as aggressive as a mud tire.
Yeah, but you can definitely feel the mud terrains. Like, you can feel.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
Floor,
yeah.
Yep. You can definitely feel the roughness and some of the bumps and stuff. From when I was trying to take those turns, I'm like, oh, it's got a little bit of wobble in it.
That's
I'm
the thing. When you go from driving a Supra, for example, or my Jetta when I had it, you kind of take the turn a little aggressive. But when I got in this, I'm like, you could feel the body roll, and I've seen horrible pictures of people flipping their Land Cruisers on a group that I'm on, and you don't want to be that guy. You know what I mean? So at the same time, I'm like taking it easy. It's one of those cars where you just get in and drive. So it's not like you gotta, overcompensate for something or take a turn way too fast because you're gonna flip. So
for sure.
It's great though. I love it.
It does everything else well. As I said, I always give some critique of it and say something bad. Besides that, there's nothing else wrong. Everything works.
I feel the cold air from here.
Yeah, I mean, it is nice. Sunroof model too on top of it. One thing that I always laugh, like these cars are so expensive even in Japan, but the Japanese market never uses leather. I never understood that. They don't, like in the US market, leather is so revered or so...
Like they're fully loaded cars. They're either cloth or like this, the velour.
Yeah,
and they don't have leather. It's just, I don't know why they don't, but...
Because
I don't like, honestly, personally, I like cloth.
Yeah.
Or for example, this. The leather, it's like in the summer it's too hot, or
it breathes better. You don't get swamp ass with cloth seats. Leather gives you that every time. Dude, the Supra, every time. Going down the cruise, even with AC on, I'm like, this sucks. I can't take this anymore. One more thing, guys, I'm looking up right now because I've been driving, so I'm trying to focus, especially with the right-hand drive. This has a built-in real compass. This isn't digital. It has real compass on the bottom. And that's pretty cool.
Elevation. That's insane.
And altimeter, like this thing.
How does it work? How does it know what altitude?
I guess it's by pressure. I mean, like every other altimeter.
Wow.
That's pretty cool. But guys, on that note, that was a basic. When I get back, I'll go around the exterior a little bit more, try to go over the motor some. But guys, again, thank you, Mikey, for bringing this up today. We're gonna get some more video, more pictures here. But I just wanted to kind of do a quick review and give you guys some feedback on this truck, buddy. Thank you again very much. Again, Stan Stagger Media. We got the OG Zilla. I'll link all the stuff down below for you guys. Do me a big favor, go down below, check out the Facebook and Instagram. Also, go check out the Pure Function website. Always new merch. Thank you guys very much, and I will talk to you later.
There goes a sight from my soul.